Welcome once again to a BeerNative Beer Review. My name is Steve Jaguar. If you're new to the channel, please share my beer reviews with your friends, particularly if you like them. That would be really handy. And it's hard to get my name out there, so I don't know, if you like beer and you think that I'm offering, important? Is it important? Beer is important. I can't believe I questioned that even for a second. But if you want people to learn more about it, then yeah, absolutely. Stick it on Facebook groups. Reddit's a good place. I don't share myself enough. I would really love it if you did that for me. That'd be awesome. Otherwise, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and all those places, so check me out. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking about I would even say it's maybe a little bit controversial, a claim about a beer that I saw. I got one and I'm ready to try it for the first time. It is, and we just saw it very briefly, let's bring it up real quick. Basqueland IPA, Imparable. And it says benchmark in Europe. All right, so let's take a quick look at why that is. So here's Basqueland's website, and I caught the timing. Not great. Let me see. I think when I first landed, let me reset and see if it comes up. There it is. Boom. That's the first page you get when you land there. And my head's in the way, but right behind my head it says the benchmark for West Coast IPA in Europe. The benchmark. Let's click through. It's out of stock for a benchmark. So here's the Basqueland Brewing Imparable IPA, West Coast India Pale Ale, the most unstoppable of our classics. But it's the fact they said benchmark. It's a 62 IBU, which aligns with West Coast. If you don't know what West Coast is piney, citrus, grapefruit, and like malt. Who cares about malt? Malt, whatever. Super muted malt, right? It's there to provide, because you got to have malt and there's some sweetness involved and we need the malt to make the booze. So a little like that. That's what West Coast IPA is, right? There's none of that hazy stuff. There is a differentiating factor. So they're talking about this being the benchmark in Europe. I've never even had it, so I feel like I'm a moron. If I should have been comparing all West Coast IPAs to this one the entire time, imagine what a fool I am. If you're looking for reference in the UK, I went to my channel, actually, and I took the hop profile, and I just searched because you can do that. Where is it here? I searched on, well, hold on. We could do this live. That's where you can buy it here. If I take Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe, classic West Coast hops, and I search my channel, right, we got 1 through 3, which does have those 3 in it, and I think it also has Amarillo, so it's not quite accurate. My name is Gail has Cascade. You can see it right there. But Barnard Castle eye test, it does have exactly those hops, actually. So that's pretty close. You can see that Brewdog, I don't review exclusively Brewdog, although you would think based on this, but Brewdog use those West Coast hops plus Chinook to a ridiculous degree as a baseline throughout their beers. You'll notice that. So if you're a big West Coast fan, hey, whatever you want to say about Brewdog, you're probably going to like their beers, right? But they are not the benchmark. They might like to think they're the benchmark, but apparently they are not. Apparently this is. If you want to get one, this is actually where I got mine. I got it from Honest Brew because I'm not going to pay to import from, well, they didn't have it in stock, Basqueland. Anyway, bitter, citrus, malty. That's weird, right? What a weird tag. If it's a West Coast, it actually shouldn't be malty. That's confusing. Pardon me. I got a little bit of a verklept. All right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so here it is. Live. I got 2 of them just in case I screwed one up. Oh, pardon me. Gosh. I guess I need to get some beer in me. I'm a little dry. Let's pop that open. Anything on the can that is exciting that we need to learn? Ask for Basque. Unstoppable West Coast IPA. Also says on the can what the hops are. I like that. You get packaging points for that. Not art points, but packaging points. if you're revealing in your packaging. I have a greenish glass which matches. Let's dump some of that in there. Stir. Ooh, wow, pungent. I was just about to give it a little sniff, and I was rewarded without even trying with a very full bouquet. So there we go. I do have the beer cam on today. Where's the beer cam live? Beer cam lives here. Let's zoom. I lost the beer cam. Beer cam. There you are. So focus it on that. As you can see, this is beer. But that's a kind of a nice color. And of course, I was giving credit to the fact that the can had the detail of the hops on it. So I'm a big fan of that. All right. So it's leapt. The smell leapt out. That's a real positive. You know, when you open a can in a room, I felt like I could have been, I don't know, there could have been somebody sitting 10 feet away, and I opened that can, started pouring into this glass, somebody would have went, "Hello, West Coast IPA." Let's give it a proper nose rather than dive right in, right? I'm getting too excited. Actually, you know what? Sticking my face right in it was a little OTT because it was almost like I was overwhelmed with that citrus hit. Just shaking it up and letting it fill the room. It's lovely. There's a bit of an acidic, kind of like a crushed grapefruit. Yeah, it's nice. Let's try it. Wow. Wow, it's hanging out. Let's say that. It's what I expected from a West Coast, right? So you've got your Citra and your Mosaic and the Simcoe, which are giving you a super piney punch. What I like about the pine is that it's just kind of hovering. Your nose is filled with the citrus and the grapefruit. Your tongue is kind of covered with this very, very long, resinous, slow, nice pine. I want to say pine, but it's not. It is pine, but there's something else there. It's maybe it's rind. It's that pith you would scrape off a lemon and sprinkle maybe onto something. Let's have another little sip, because the thing when you've got a heavy resin like this, or a heavy bitter, is that it's while the all of the aromas, they invite you in like the siren song, and then the bitter hits you, and you might go, "Oh, that was not what I was expecting," but you take a second sip. Then it all comes together. It's odd. There's a slight dankness to it, which I wasn't expecting necessarily for those hops, but it's really there. It edges up the bitter onto something like a little bit next level. That is okay. This is where I think they're talking about the benchmark, right? The hop profile is, well, it's probably extra pale or something, because it's really a bit yellowy. It does have a little bit of darkness to it. Like, it's not totally clear, is it? It's not like a lager clear. There's a little bit of, there's a few swimmers in there, a few swimmers in the pool. But it is very, very light. One more sip. It's a 6.8%. I've not said that yet, but you probably saw it on the screen. I had somebody once say to me that 6.8 is the optimal percentage for an IPA. And I'm not going to argue that was that person's opinion. It's just that there are so many different IPAs that bounce around that point. And actually, Some of the stats that I take when I'm reviewing beers, alcohol level being one of them, and the reason I searched on the hops there to find out what other beers have these hops. Something that when I get longer term, I think on my anniversary of my first review, which I think will be in July or August now, I'm going to take all those stats and I'm going to do a show where I'm going to say I rated 6.8% beers the highest. I seem to like these hops. Like I'm going to look around and see if I can use all the stats I have from these reviews to provide, I don't know, interesting data. So we'll see if it resolves at 6.8. This is 6.8. Maybe they know something we do not. Maybe this person who told me that knows something we do not. But it is good. It definitely hits home, and I think less alcohol wouldn't elevate the pine and make it a nice. It feels like a nice slow sipper. It's not hiding the alcohol, but it is a really nice, super hop forward, big nose, big flavor, and I think that's what they mean when they're saying the word benchmark. They're not necessarily. I don't think they're necessarily saying this is average, because that's right. They're not saying this is typical. This is the one you should compare all others to. They're saying here's the new bar. That's what I'm getting from that. Then that's my interpretation, because they've gone hard and heavy on all that is typical about West Coast IPA in this. So that I think is what they mean. It's a challenge, not necessarily to say find one that is more West Coast-ish than this. Now, some people I think wouldn't say that's not the best, that's not the benchmark, but it's certainly trying to be as West Coasty as possible. Is more better? Sometimes. Let's score it up. So, in terms of, let's start with the can and the packaging. I'm almost always a fan of Basqueland's art. Super simple, right? This isn't exactly. We can throw this back onto the beer cam again, but what a pale can. Well, the light on this camera is really pants, isn't it? But there's subtle detail you can see, like the speckles around the sides. I like the contrast colors. I quite like the IPA font. I like Basqueland's font generally, but it's good, isn't it? And you see the colors better on this cam, but it from a distance, it's just a really beautiful can with a really nice piece of art on it. It looks a bit almost comic book, and I really think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to give it a 4 on art. Normally I give things that are standard on the packaging. It's just a can, pretty normal. But if you touch the label, it is kind of textured. So like tactile wise, I'm holding it in my hand and I kind of like it, right? They've used very high end paper. I don't know, for whatever that's worth. And plus I said I would give them a bonus point for being forthcoming, having all the data you need on the can without having to go somewhere to look up. That drives me nuts when people do that. The fact that I can find out the hops somewhere but not on the can, like why? Just put it on the can. So they're going to get a 4 for that. So we're starting off with an 8 on packaging alone, which is cool. Accuracy. Haha. The benchmark. West Coast IPA. It was intriguing, and it's delivered a punch. It is West Coast. It's got a laid back malt. Do I give it a 5? Do I say it's perfect? I might be hard on it a little bit here. It's a bit of marketing. I'm definitely going to go 4 on accuracy, and I'm going to maybe come back to it. Is it unique? Not really. It's a West Coast IPA. It's got the most boring ingredients ever. It's just nah, right? However, they have certainly amplified it somehow to make it a little bit unique. I think I'm going to go 8. So it's either going to give it a 5 on accuracy and a 3 on uniqueness, or maybe just 4 and 4. Let's call it 5 on accuracy and a 3 on. I'm looking at my window because it was sunny 2 seconds ago, and I swear it's snowing right now. The weather in April in the United Kingdom is crazy. 2 weeks ago it was 22 degrees. I was in a hammock. Now I'm looking at snow, like proper snow. Anyway, so we're at 16 now I'm going to go 5 and 3, by the way. 5 for accuracy, 3 for uniqueness. And do I like it? I do. I like when a beer just like kind of reaches out and goes pop and punches you in the face. That's cool. I like when they take the standard and somehow they use the same old recipe and somehow create something different, something more pungent, something more punchy. That's pretty cool. I like that. It does have, well, you saw like the IBU was, what was it on the 60 something, right? I don't need to know exactly. It was 60 something, 62, 64. So there's a lot of, this is hoptacular. Let's just say that. And it's lived up to something resembling a benchmark. I think it's pretty cool. So is it a 9? Maybe going to go 8s across the board, right? 888. So that's 24. That's a 4 out of 5. I think this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So there we go. That's going to be a 4 out of 5 on Untappd. Let's wrap it up. My name's Steve Jaguar. Let's switch this back over to here. And if you do like my reviews, please leave a comment. If you know another, this would be a great comment, because these are very common hops, Citra, Simcoe, and Mosaic. And it's a West Coast IPA. It's got a high IBU, high bitter. It's a real punch. Maybe something that I can go head to head and I can reference this review back. A challenge. That's what I'm looking for in the comments. Let's do that. All right. That would rock. Otherwise, though, thanks for watching once again. My name's Steve Jaguar. This is a BeerNative beer review. Steve out.